Cancer can change a person in profound ways, spiritually, physically, emotionally, and mentally. Here are some key ways that cancer can change someone and some of the biggest lessons that I learned along the way. Many survivors, including myself, will reevaluate their priorities, focusing on what truly matters. Whether it's the experience of battling the disease, enduring the treatments, or facing mortality, it often leaves lasting effects. Before my diagnosis, I was working a ton, traveling a ton for work, and I was completely burnt out. After going through everything I did with cancer, I realized that I needed to put my health as my number one priority, and I reevaluated the stressors and stress level in my life, and I decided that I needed other hobbies other than just working. There's often a stronger appreciation for life and life's small joys. There's often a stronger appreciation for life, family, and the small joys. I have embraced gratitude in times that in the past would have been tough for me. Things that once seemed stressful or important may not be stressful or important to you anymore. Cancer can bring a mix of emotions: fear, anxiety, gratitude, guilt. While I was in the midst of treatment, I had such a deep-seated fear that was really hard for me to shake. I honestly was never afraid of getting cancer before. I truly was afraid of maybe getting kidnapped or in a really bad car accident, but cancer never was on my radar. I was always very healthy, and it didn't run in my family. So when I did get cancer, it was a complete shock to me, and it really shook me to my core and made me realize how much is not in my control. What really helped me get back on track was staying focused in the present, doing everything that I could control by eating healthy, listening to my doctor's orders, and not thinking of all the what ifs of the future, of what may or may not happen. Some people develop a great sense of resiliency, while you might also experience depression. I personally feel that I experienced both. In the middle of treatment, I really started to struggle with depression, especially when I went down my fear rabbit hole. And I realized that I did need help. It was not normal for me to cry so many times in a week. And I did reach out for help and get on medication to help pull me out of my depression. I think what was hardest for me, which contributed to my depression, was not being able to do the things that I loved to do, and for such a long period of time. I wasn't able to go swimming. I couldn't go out with my friends, go boating on the 4th of July. I didn't feel pretty, and over a long period of time, it just really took its toll. I also struggled with mourning the loss of the life that I thought was going to happen for me. As cancer stole my fertility, I had always thought that someday I would have kids, and suddenly I was faced with knowing that I would not ever have my own children. Now, post-treatment, I truly feel like the most powerful person and the most resilient person out there. I really feel like any challenge I would be able to take on without it really stressing me out, and I'm grateful for that. Relationships may also change during a cancer diagnosis. You may get closer with some people, and you might drift away with others. Treatments like surgery, chemotherapy and radiation can cause long-lasting side effects, from body changes to scars, the loss of hair, to fatigue, and it's very real. I felt fatigue a lot coming out of my treatment, but 6 months later, after my treatment has ended, I do still feel the side effects of fatigue. Now, some of the medication that I'm currently on and will need to be on for the next few years also cause fatigue as a side effect. But I do and have learned how to manage by going out and taking a walk if I feel tired and need to wake up. Getting the heart and the blood pumping typically helps. And if I do feel like I need to rest my body, I will take the time to rest. I do feel like I am back in my own body. I will say immediately after surgery and a few months after, I did not feel like I was living in my body. So it took about 6 months post-surgery for me to get there, but I'm happy to say I did get there. There is hope and a light at the end of that tunnel. I will say that I do still struggle with my confidence. I used to have really long blonde hair, and I'm in this awkward phase of growing my hair out right now, and I miss that long blonde hair. There's definitely a shift in social interactions. I was pleasantly surprised of once I revealed my cancer diagnosis or spoke about it openly to people, how many people shared back their own stories. And I had no idea how widespread cancer actually was. Even complete strangers, talking to them in the grocery line or getting compliments of my hair being short. I really felt the support from all around, which was great. I have become more selective of who I keep in my life, and I have left more superficial and toxic relationships in my past. I did also see some friends struggle to know how to support me during this time, or they might have felt funny reaching out and checking in on me, so they maybe have gone a little silent, but I didn't take their silence as them not caring, and it's okay if you don't know how to act or show support either. You know, I don't know how to act either going through this, so I do believe in just giving your friends and people around you grace, because it's a crazy situation you found yourself in. Many cancer survivors find pursuits in advocacy, helping others, and have a new passion that they might look to pursue. This is certainly true with me. I was struggling with my sense of purpose coming out of my cancer treatment, and that was one of the main reasons why I started this channel. I thought that by sharing my experience, I could potentially give back to others of someone who might be going through the same thing that I did. There's also a drive to make the most of the time that you have. So that can come in many ways, by switching careers, traveling, or really developing a stronger sense of connection with those around you. I am very excited to start traveling again. I did lose my status on American, and I wrote them a letter to see if they would make an exception. It's the only thing that I'm very disappointed about in American. They would not make an exception since I could not travel, so the status is lost. But regardless, I am very excited to start planning trips and pursue my passion of exploring. Even after remission, there is a sense of fear that the cancer can return, and it makes follow-up appointments and scans emotionally taxing and can cause a lot of anxiety. What helps me when I have an appointment with my oncologist or my surgeon, for example, is making sure that I do something that is enjoyable for me following that appointment, even if it's something small, like taking myself out to lunch or going to a workout class or getting a facial that I enjoy. I haven't had any follow-up scans yet, but I do and have heard that skin anxiety is real. How I plan to handle that is leaning in on my friends and asking a friend to go with me or to do something fun afterwards so I can look forward to that versus just focusing on the scan and the results of that scan itself. Many survivors become much more health conscious, adjusting their diet, their exercise routine, or look at different ways to manage their stress level. I was pretty healthy before my cancer diagnosis, but after my cancer diagnosis, I will say that I cook even more at home. I only buy organic foods now. And I really have a focus on making sure that I'm eating non-processed foods for the majority of the time. I don't believe in restricting anything completely from your diet. So I believe in the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, I will eat very healthy, non-processed foods. 20% if I want that ice cream and it's not technically nice cream, I'm still gonna go ahead and get it, because you have to live your life. I was also in great physical health before cancer. I worked out pretty often and I looked great. But the big difference was before I would exercise to look good, and now I exercise to be stronger. And I have recently incorporated weight-bearing exercises into my routine. Facing mortality can make someone more empathetic with someone struggling with illness or hardship overall. There's often a deeper understanding of what's important and what matters in the meaning of life, with connection, love, and personal fulfillment. I will say that I very much relate to both of these points, as my priorities have shifted, and what matters the most to me is life's joys and being close and connected to my friends and my family. I would love to hear from you. Has cancer affected you or anyone you know, and how has it changed them? Has it changed them in any of these ways that I mentioned, for better or for worse? If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so we can continue on this journey together. Sending you all the love, strength, and hope. See you guys in the next video.